be more lenient with yourself to know that that happens and it's okay because you can grow through that. Maybe taking some time to nurture the little girl and what she received, what she was missing, and acknowledge her feelings because they are valid no matter what they were or are, you know. And once she feels better and she really gets the love that she's missing, you'll feel better.
Bless me. That's beautiful. Hello, this is Andrea from Our Daydream back again with another awesome guest. This week we have Antoinette Logan. She is the creator of the Altered Image Agency, which is a full service account management company. She is also the founder of the nonprofit Bonded by Birth and an international author. We spoke a lot about healing from childhood trauma. Without further ado, here is Antoinette.
Greetings, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for asking. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But I'm glad to have you. And I was researching you. I kind of procrastinate till last minute, but I do these weekly. So, well, sometimes 3 times a week. So I was like binge watching you today and
Really?
yeah. So, I don't know. I think the reason that I have this podcast is that I had been through so much in my life that I had learned a better way of being, because I kind of slipped into this place of depression from all the trauma that I just held on to me rather than letting it go. And so the whole, the identity of Our Daydream is seeing lights in different lights. And so I really enjoy having people on that, has this story and they overcame, this story and really are doing beautiful things with their lives. And so I had seen that, you had endured a good bit in life as well, and that now you're doing really awesome things, with everything that you had been through. But can you tell us a little bit, can you tell us your story?
Sure. In a nutshell, I was separated from my parents early on in life, maybe either 2 days or 2 weeks old. I found out about it pretty much late in life. I was with what I call my godparents, not even realizing that they're really fostering me. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, that was actually a great time in my life. They were good people. Treated me, but I learned a lot, taught me how to read and write, ride a bike, and all that great stuff. So that was that part. Snatched from them early on, maybe around the age of 5, they said, or something like that. And I remember different things that transpired, but yeah, like you, trauma was kind of all the ways around through different things, whether it was the trauma of being separated from my natural born parents, or the trauma of being different from the people you're around, and the traumas of sexual abuse and neglect and just different things. With all of that though, I always made it my business to keep it moving. I knew it was going to be me, myself, and I that was going to have to get me to wherever I was going. So you got to pick those feet up and keep it moving.
Right. Yeah, I can identify a lot with like the me, myself, and I. And it really does like build this beautiful thing, because you see people being so disappointed by expecting that others will be there for them. And I'm just like, if you're really expecting that they should be there for you and you're disappointed, that just proves that you're very blessed that you had people that were there for you in your life, that you even expected that at all. I said, because, when you're accustomed to always being alone, you appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep, I definitely agree. I'm one of those people that tell people all the time, you need to be what you're expecting from other people to yourself first. If you are expecting people to congratulate you and jump up and down when you are doing something great, you better do it for yourself first, because having those expectations and waiting on somebody else to be something for you will surely allow you to be disappointed, hurt, and upset. And really, it's all your own fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I started like realizing that I could do more with my life only in probably like 2017. 17 I started like seeking out these different ways. And so it hasn't been very long on like the healing journey of it. And so it's like almost like my past shows up to me in cycles to like
Mhm.
punch me in the face. Like scenarios will happen that will like bring me back to like being the child that was always just this horrible child, and it like shows up in cycles all the time. Do you think that that happens for you as well?
Not exactly, but I think that it's probably because I've kind of, for lack of better words, paid homage to her, gave her the little
Yeah,
me, the love she needed, and
I love
we've
that.
worked on it together so that that part doesn't come up.
I love that.
However, I can identify though with certain things happening that can emotionally put you in a place that triggers that old trauma or those old feelings. And I won't necessarily say that it always takes you back to the little you per se, which it may do for you, but in my situation, it doesn't necessarily take me back to the little me. It's just a reminder of that
Trigger.
trauma, a reminder of what that
Yeah,
felt like. And I honestly feel that even when we go through our healing journey to learn healthy coping mechanisms and different things that we can do to keep ourselves elevated and in a good place, I think that once you've been hurt a certain way, if something happens that's similar to that, you're probably going to remember what that felt like. You know what I mean? I mean, it's
yeah,
no different than touching the stove. You know what I mean? When you touch the
yeah,
stove and you know it burns you, anytime you're next to the stove, you know it's a possibility you can get burned. So,
right.
you be more lenient with yourself to know that
I love that.
that happens and it's okay because you can grow through that. Maybe taking some time to nurture the little girl
Yeah,
and what she received, what she was missing, and acknowledge her feelings because they are valid no matter
yeah,
what they were or are, you know. And once she feels better and she really gets the love that she's missing, you'll feel better because,
yeah.
you
I
know,
love it. Yeah, you blessed me. That's beautiful. So what triggered your pursuit of like just rising above it all and just learning a different way of allowing that to become a part of like the beauty of your story? What triggered that self growth in you?
well, I think I was always I was always talking about it. Meaning like in my younger days, I was writing about what I was going through in poetry. I was writing songs, writing plays. Um, when I got into music, again, writing, it was therapeutic. I was writing about it in the music. Um, once I kind of walked away from the music industry, and I think it was probably when I started the nonprofit that I really made it a focus to share my story, share what I was going through and growing through. Because in building the nonprofit, I ended up going to become a certified life coach. And doing that, you kind of got to do the work, kind of,
Yeah,
you got to do the work on yourself. It's not so much about you just go and be a life coach. It's like these different strategies that you're going to teach your clients. You got to do those strategies with yourself.
Yeah.
And I did all the things. Wrote the letters to my mother, the letter to my father, had the hard conversations, tried to mend the broken relationships. It didn't work. I did the next level, cut ties, end toxicity, move forward, focus fully on self, and let nothing distract you from the vision and the goal that you have for you. Because at the end of the day, it's just you and you. It's you
Right.
against you, you with you for you.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be held captive to other people
true.
or the
Absolutely.
world or the world. Like,
Anything.
it shouldn't have
Anything.
power over you. Yeah. Yeah. It shouldn't have power over you. I did the same thing. I like went through a life coaching, course, and like that showed me a lot about who that I was outside of the trauma. I went to therapists for, off and on for many years trying to get out of that state of depression. But it was like I always left there worse than what I was whenever I come in. So I'm
Hmm.
really grateful that like life coaching is becoming like more and more mainstream. Like there's still a lot of people that never heard the term. They're like, a what?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll tell you, for me, that's kind of really one of the main reasons that my nonprofit even was starting, because it's one thing to go to college and go to school to become a therapist, a counselor, and all these things, and read case studies, write a report, and pass a
Right.
class. Anybody that can comprehend literature and then do a report on their findings or what they read and comprehended can pass a class. That does not actually deem you to be the greatest therapist, counselor, psychologist, whatever. For me, it's more about working with the person who truly does understand what I am demonstrating or expressing or what's happening without it being clinically labeled this or that based upon a book
Yeah.
and what a
Yeah.
book said. You
I
know,
had just found that out that they actually have to diagnose you in order to charge the insurance company. So when you go into a therapist's office, you have to come out with a diagnosis in order for them to charge. Isn't that insane?
absolutely,
Yeah.
because it's like this. If
I
if
might end up
you
getting in trouble for this, but
if you if you were walking to your home, right, and there was a bear, a lion, whatever kind of animal, and it left its cubs right by your door, and it came back, the cubs aren't there, but you are there. How's that animal going to respond to you when the babies aren't there anymore? It's
yeah,
going to probably attack you, right?
right.
Are we going to call the animal, oh, it's schizophrenic, the animal's depressed, we're not going to say any of that. We're going to
Right,
say that the animal is acting natural, responding to this traumatic thing that transpired, the separation of its children,
right,
whatever, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with like the whole therapy counselor thing, because at the end of the day, if certain things are happening around you, to you, in your life, and you're experiencing them, these emotions that come from it, it doesn't deem you to be labeled as something. They're natural emotions that would
right,
happen if certain things happen. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it's
Yeah,
really like, let's drop the title and let's come up with the strategies and the ways that we're going to work through this to, grow from this place. And
right,
at any time that something comes up or happens that brings you back to that moment, we've got these strategies that we've learned to help us out of that moment again, even if we have to do it 10 times, 20 times,
right.
however many times. You know what I'm saying?
It's stronger each time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, like, because I spent 34 years to depression, and what really changed my life was somebody who's like, I get that you're going through a lot right now. I get that you have a lot on your plate, but can you please just see your blessings? And I thought to myself, holy hell, like, I'm creating this. I'm creating it. Like these thoughts that are rolling in my head, they're nonstop and they're horrible. And I actually like am creating this on my own. And so then I was like trying to figure out all these ways. Well, nobody told me that. Like, all these therapists never taught me, like, you're creating it, you're doing it. Like, so let's figure
Mhm.
out how to not do it. Like, they just
Mhm.
let you be in that, and then, write you a diagnosis, and then send you out the door, after an hour in the middle of your trauma, and say, have a good night. Well, it's no wonder suicide's so high.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I operate my coaching service much different than the average. It's not a we meet every Wednesday or whatever. It's you reach out to me when you need to.
Right.
If you're having an issue in your life today and you need some assistance to work through it, you reach out and we either have an appointment right away or as soon as the next appointment is available. That
Right.
doesn't mean that once I give you the help that you need today, you might be using those strategies for the next year or whatever. Who knows? You know what I mean? You
Right.
might not need to turn around and call me back. The hopes is that you okay.
Yeah.
If you are reaching out, it's to have a chat, a checkup to say everything's going great. But if not, then yeah, okay, come back. But that the pharmaceutical business is a business, period,
Right.
all the way around, whichever way
Right.
you want to look at it,
Right.
from front door all the way to the back where you actually got to get prescribed some medication. You know what I mean? So whether you
Right.
sitting there having a conversation with a therapist or a doctor and they just talking or whatever, it's a business. It's not really meant to heal you or to really fix the problem. It's meant to constantly give you a band-aid every time so you have to keep coming back.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, it's like, I don't know. Coaching is, more like future focused. It's like, how about we take like all this stuff that you've been through in your whole life, and let's conquer your dreams with that. Like, let's use that for like your purpose, or what you're excited about, or what you love, and let's do that instead. So what is your coaching program?
I don't have a coaching program specifically
Like,
around life.
is it geared towards branding, or is it more so like just a life coach? Like, I'm here for you I mean, because you have, uh uh it's like you're gonna help people get through the stuff that you have went through, I'm sure, right?
Mhm. So, as far as like reaching out to me for coaching, it's really ask Ms. Logan. We have a consultation that lets us know what we really need to do moving forward, whether it's going to be something that's a little bit consistent because you need some time to work through those things, or if it's literally you talk to me right now and I give you what you need right now, and then you reach out the next time you do. When it comes to branding and business side of things, there's different ways that we work together, whether it's to provide a one-off service that you need. Oh, we need website, logo, blah, 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 blah. And we do that and it's done. We also have the Iconic Speakers Directory, which also has a VIP paid program that's launching very soon. That is to help you globally expand your brand through our PPP strategies without leaving your home or hiring a publicist.
Awesome. You have a book. And I think that it was your book. What's the name of your book? Because I was trying to search it out.
Well, the one that I toured with was It Starts With I. It's a self-love, self-help book that's focused on self-love, mindset, business, wealth, money, and growth. I have the next It Starts With I book in the series coming soon, and It Starts With I Intentions, where I'll help you learn how to live an intentional lifestyle. There's a few different books that I have out. I also have Water for Her Soul that
Yeah.
I co-authored with an 11-year-old girl.
Aw, that's
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think affirmations is like, I can feel it. Like, if I'm going through like a bad thing in life, because, like, you're going to have bad things happen. And so when I'm going through something bad in life and I forget about the affirmations, like, you can feel like you're a little bit more like tugged. around by the experience, but it's like the affirmations kind of give you that strength. Like, I got this. I'm going to get through this. Like, I'm going to do this.
Absolutely.
So it's,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I find myself repeating my affirmations throughout the day, not just whenever I wake up.
yeah,
Sometimes I just have to say it, and sometimes it's not even something going on. It just comes out. It just
yeah.
comes out.
I need to be more consistent with that.
I think that you'll create your own consistency, and what I
Yeah,
mean by that is, you may not wake up and say 100 affirmations every day, but
right.
you may have that one that you say at some point every day.
Yeah,
It's creating your own consistency. That's what's
yeah,
important, what actually works for you.
yeah. I really liked how you said intentional. Um, because it like everything you do needs to have like intention behind it. It's like intention
Yeah.
in your day. Like, I'm intentionally going to do this today. I just learned a couple weeks ago, like, intention in your meditation makes a huge drastic difference between, intention, like doing a meditation and just like paying attention to
That's
your
good.
breath.
Yep.
It's like everything.
Intention in everything is very important, because if you set the intention properly, it's almost like a sure way to guarantee your results.
Yeah, it's a movement rather than yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You have the Altered Image Agency. What is that?
Yeah. A.I.M is a creative agency that's focused on brand development and lead generation strategies. We take our clients from idea to brand, brand to business, business to elevation and profit, pretty much meeting you where you are to help you achieve your next level business goals.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, we kind of
You're like on with that.
thank you. I've said it a million times.
Right. I've seen you do a lot of podcasts. Where did it come from? Like, what made you decide to do that?
Well, I've always been into acronyms for some reason. Like, I think it's just connected to my brand brain. So I just wanted it to make sense. And when I first started, it was the Altered Image Marketing Agency. But once I got, like, when I made it a full blown company, and I'm like, marketing isn't the main focus. I actually want to focus on the brand. So with the I and M in image being right next to each other, I just dropped the marketing and kept it Altered Image Agency.
Right.
And that was it. Right. Our tagline is aim high, because we literally aim high. You know, big dreams, big goals. Some people can't, keep up with the thought, like, no, we shouldn't do that. That's too big. But it'd be like, why not? Go big or go home. So
Right.
aim high. We give our clients a safe space to elevate easily.
What made you decide to do the branding and marketing?
It chose me,
Yeah,
really.
I love
It
that.
just kind of came with the territory. Everything that I do or was doing, I had to brand myself a certain way to stand out, and to basically set the bar. So as I was naturally growing and finding creative ways to build my brand, I was branding, not even knowing that that's what I was doing. And it just came with the territory. Um, yeah.
Tell me about Bonded by Birth.
Bonded by Birth is it's my nonprofit. We're an advocate for parents and children dealing with ruptured relationships due to the separation or disconnection from one another. So it's not something that I'm actively focused on or pushing, but I'm always a support and an ear and someone you can reach out to if you're experiencing situations in that area and need some guidance.
I feel like whenever I started whenever I started helping people with the same thing that I had went through, people would then like be grateful for the words that you had to give them in those moments, or, whatever it might be that you might have to say to them, because you already know it's like, this is what I would have wanted to hear, in these situations. So you can help pull people through stuff, and like they're thankful for that. And it's like I would have rather not have went through what I have went through, but because I'm able to use it now for a purpose, in this world, in other people on this earth, that now I can, like, it does help with the healing process, but also it almost gives you gratitude for, like, your strength through it all. It's like, yeah, I might not have wanted to go through all that, but look at all the people, like, I'm able to help now because of that.
Yeah, I get you there. For me, I've always had a way with words.
Yeah.
And whether I am writing a poem, writing a book, writing a song, or speaking and just sharing, I've always had a way with words. So I feel that these things that I experienced in my life, I had to go through them because in order to use my gift to help other people, I had to actually experience it. So like my time in music as a rapper, I wasn't gonna make a song about, I don't know, riding in a Bugatti if I had never been in a Bugatti. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
had to actually experience things in order to write about it. So that I think that when we go through those things, it is because of something greater on the other side. We just don't know it when we're going through it. Because I definitely didn't feel like this when I was going through, for sure.
Right. Yeah, I know. It feels like you're never going to get out of it. Like things are never going to get better. And then I feel like there's so many people out there that are just their identities attached to, this trauma that they go through, and it's really inspiring, these people on the planet. I call them earth angels that just went through so much, and are like, there's hope. Like it's what builds this beautiful part of you, like if you allow it to.
Absolutely does. Absolutely does. It's really always up to you what that's gonna look like, even in the moments of going through. I think that if my mindset was how it is today, back then, the experience would have looked different for me.
Right.
But unfortunately, it wasn't. So it went how it went. But that's why it's important for people like you and I to constantly share what we learn and what we know, so that if we can get into the minds of the young people when they're going through while they're young, and teach them how to adopt the new mindset in the midst of that young age going through,
Right.
we can save them a lot of years of heartache and pain because they are adopting that mindset early on, where for us, it came later.
Yeah, that and the next generation.
Right.
Because I know, like, it's even that my kids paid the price for a lot of years of, my childhood trauma, and like the relationships I picked and the relationships that broke, and,
Absolutely.
all that. Like, they had to pay for that, and I could only tell them through words, but not through sight. There's another way. But it's like whenever you have people out there really gravitating towards like showing the younger generation, that's like a whole line of human beings later on down the road that change their course.
hmm hmm Unfortunately, the cycle sometimes continues until we
Yeah.
catch it and make a change. And the tagline for Bonded by Birth literally is "My history became his story," meaning my son, because the what you said, he paid the price in different ways, whether it was directly from me or not. The
Yeah.
cycle still
Yeah.
continued, and that's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah, it's so true. Uh,
Yeah.
it's I could see like my daughter, like she's not making the same stupid choices that I made, but at the same time, she's got this anxiety that attacks her mind. And I'm like, just get rid of it. And she's like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes, you can. And it's like, these things that you see in your kids, and it's like, oh, like if I would have known then what I know now. But I mean, that's going to build their purpose too one day. You just hope that,
Yep,
they hit that breaking point too, where they're like, all right, so I'm sick of doing things that way. I think I'm going to change to a different way.
absolutely. Well, I wouldn't say that change is always good, but in most times it is good.
Right. Yeah. So how do we find you?
Well, it's very easy. I'm at Ask Miss Logan on all platforms, AskMsLogan. You can connect with everything via my link tree, linktree.com/Ask Logan.
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that one more time? You start breaking up in it. I just wanted to be on here.
It's all right. You can
Okay.
connect with me at Ask Miss Logan. That's AskMsLogan, or directly through my link tree, linktree.com/Ask Miss Logan.
Got it. I appreciate you so much for joining me, and um thank you for your service work, trying to make this world a little bit brighter.
Just trying to be who I needed when I was coming and going through. So
Right.
that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you today.
Yeah. Have a good night. If you like this message, please hit subscribe, because we have an awesome guest coming up every week and I don't want you to miss out. God bless. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.